Hi guys, Ali Duzette here, and today I just wanted to talk about some interesting thoughts that I've had on my mind, and I haven't had anybody to talk them out with. Um, okay, and it has to do with money, the economy, the revolution that we're going to be seeing in technology and in the economy in the coming days, and and the past and history. Okay, this is the stuff that I've been thinking about, and I guess we'll just start with plastic because I don't love plastic, as I'm sure many of us out there do not. Some years ago, I purged my house of plastic dinnerware, so that my kids wouldn't have to eat on plastic. I feel like plastic is poison. It is not good for bodies. And so we got rid of all of our plastic silverware stuff for the kids, and they eat off of glass plates like us. We use the plain white Corelle that is lead free, allegedly. And we use stainless steel cups for the kids and glasses for us. And I mean, like made out of glass for the grown-ups. And anyway, I've been thinking a lot about plastic and about how much I wish that it could be returned to the environment in a non-toxic way, because you hear about these biodegradable plastics, and I'm not really sure that other people's ideas of biodegradable are what I think it should be when we're talking about biodegradable. Like, you can take a plastic bag from the grocery store and it can break down in the sunlight, in the dirt, but its little component materials are still toxic. And now that's just in the dirt. Like, now the bugs are just full of it. Now your plants are just full of it. Now your grass is part plastic, like breaking this plastic down into tiny pieces doesn't solve the problem. It actually makes the problem worse, because now it's more bioavailable, but it's still poison, right? So, I don't love that. And so I've been thinking about, what would it look like if we had a solution for plastic, if we could biodegrade plastic for real? And I thought, if we really did that for real, we would have a big problem, actually, because the reason why we love plastic is that it's not biodegradable. That's the whole point. The whole point is that we finally found a product. We finally found this just an object that doesn't degrade. It doesn't melt in water. It doesn't rot. You can use it to wrap up anything and transport it, and it's going to get there dry. And it's a miracle, really. I mean, we can make things that don't rot. We have exempted ourselves from the age-old battle between man and nature. And I think that that's something my mom always told us about this when I was a kid. She would always talk about how people these days don't realize that nature's the worst, and we have always fought against nature. Humankind has always been fighting against nature and trying to win this battle against the elements, against the animals, against the insects. For all of history, we have been fighting against nature, and guess what? Like, we won, guys. We won so hard that nature is paying for it quite dearly. After millennia of nature really having it out on us, now how the tables have turned, right? We've poisoned everything. We've polluted everything, and we've created all of these objects and items that will never rot in a million years, And so as I go about my house and do my chores, I'm always thinking about plastic waste and textile waste. And that's like my secret passion, because, my degree's in environmental science, soil chemistry, and what I wish that my brain could come up with the solution for all of this waste that is just building up, and it has nowhere to go. And I think that's one thing I love about soils. I love soil science. I love soil. It just takes all the waste and makes it into something new. Like, talk about the ultimate resurrection process, like the ultimate in rebirth, taking what is not needed, taking what is dead, what is rejected, what is refuse, and turning it into new life. Wow, that's soil. It's amazing. And I wish I could find that same solution for plastic and for textiles. This fast fashion stuff, and I'm guilty of fast fashion too, which is like the fashion version of fast food, where you go and buy a $10 thing from Target or Walmart or whatever and wear it once and throw it away. Like, I haven't done that on purpose, but I have done that, you know, as far as buying something, I think I'm going to wear it. I don't. Eventually, I donate it. We feel better about it because we donated it. But guess what? It most likely ended up in a giant trough in Africa somewhere where no one will ever wear it again because the entire planet is inundated with cheap textiles. And these cheap textiles are not natural. They're made of unnatural sources. And I'm sitting here. My grandmother is actually a fabric merchant. She is not anymore, but she grew up at a fabric store, and we were raised talking a lot about fabric, but like this is my son's Minky blanket. Minky is made out of petroleum. Did you know that? Like this blanket, my kids love it. They each have their Minky blankets that they got from the family store. And these will never rot. These will never rot. And we snuggle it and we breathe in petroleum fibers. Ew. You know, like no wonder we're all poisoned. Our clothes are poisoned, our textiles are poisoned, and what are we going to do about it? And so I think about this. But this morning I thought, you know, if we actually had a solution. So like say, so one thing, I know this is gross. I keep an eye on the mold that I find occasionally in my kid's sippy cup here. My kid uses these kinds of sippy cups, okay? And this top pops off. And so that you can wash the white part and then you wash this like silicone part separately. And I had one top that was left with a relative who washed it. She didn't realize they came apart. So she washed it over and over and it wouldn't get cleaner. It got worse and there was mold growing inside. And when I finally got it back, the mold, like the plastic itself was damaged. It looked like the mold had eaten it. And there were like ridges where the mold was. And I wish I had saved it and I wish I had cultured it, because now I'm like, did that mold actually eat that plastic? Like, did I accidentally have access to a thing that could have eaten plastic and I threw it away or something? Like that's what we need. We need a mold. We need like a biological organism that can eat plastic. Now, I don't know if you watched that Netflix thing called Fantastic Fungi, but it's fine. Go watch it if you want to. It talks about these different mushrooms that eat petroleum, like oil spills, which is kind of good, except then I just thought, well, but did it break down the petroleum into its true component parts? And like, are we back to normal elements, or now do we just have a giant crop of poisonous mushrooms that are like petroleum based mushrooms, but they like have magically survived from eating this, you know? Like, do you want to eat the mushrooms that ate an oil spill? I don't really want to do that, you know? Maybe I just don't know enough about it. Anyway, this all comes back to these big thoughts that I wanted to talk to you about, because the first thought was just that, man, if I did discover an organism that could eat plastic, and I did make it into a kind of thing, I talk about myself, but like if somebody found an organism that could eat plastic and like let it loose into the world, that would cause such big problems. You know, our current world cannot coexist with a world that has a solution for plastic. It just can't. Because if we had the solution for plastic, like say it was some kind of organism that could digest plastic and turn it back into, you know, water and like air, you know, it pees out the water and poops out the air of the plastic and like leaves behind a little organic material that's actually healthy. And if that got out, what if it ate your shoes? You know, like my kids have their Lego empire in the basement. Like it could eat Legos. Like the reason why you love Legos is because they last forever, you know? They're so great. Like my kids play with my Legos from when I was a kid, and their kids can probably also play with my Legos when they are all grown up, or, you know, when they exist. My kids are little. So when their kids are little, you know, the thing about plastic that's great is that it doesn't degrade. But if we found a solution that actually could go through the earth and solve the problem of plastic, it would cause a whole bunch of other problems. Okay. So this has brought me to this other thought, which has to do with the concept of planned obsolescence. A great example of planned obsolescence is dishwasher disposals or sink disposals, you know, on your sink, where a disposal could last forever, but they make them on purpose so that they will break a couple years into using on, like not not too soon probably, but like they're designed so that they will break someday, so that you'll have to buy a new one. Because here's the problem. If they do not do that, and everybody in the whole world just bought their disposal, and now it's going to last for 100 years, you're not going to need another disposal for 100 years. What's going to happen to the disposal company? Like, what's going to happen in 60 years when little Susie gets her new house and wants to buy a disposal? Like, she will not be able to buy one because the company went under, because it didn't have enough recurring sales to maintain profitability. So planned obsolescence is when companies like plan ahead that their things are going to break, so that people are going to have to spend money to buy something new. Here's another great example. You can probably Google up planned obsolescence, Apple or iPhone, and see what shows up. And it's probably going to be a bunch of stuff that really ticks you off. Stuff about how the company makes sure that your old phone stops working, that they stop supporting old versions of old iPhones and stuff, so that you're forced to go and buy a new one, even though your old one was perfectly fine. And guess what? It probably is perfectly fine, but they need the recurrent income. And so they're going to make sure that you can't use your phone anymore until you buy a new one. And so these concepts are both kind of wrapping around this idea of humanity's desire for permanence, right? Like, and I think that this is truly an inborn trait. I think this is a natural desire for all the humans to create things that last. We want our bodies to last, right? And in the last video I watched from Watcher Palmer, he was talking about how like the fitness obsessions are like, a secular version of like resurrection. And we're just trying to stay young, trying to stay beautiful, trying to stay healthy at whatever cost. And we want to create, we want to write books that last and create buildings that last and have reputations that last. This has been a major motivation for so many people throughout all of time, where they're trying to build things that last. And here we are, like, we've done it. We've made it, guys. Like, everything that we do is going to last forever, But let's talk about it in terms of business, because man, I just have so many thoughts about this, and thank you for letting me talk it out, because they're like still bouncing around in there. But this idea of planned obsolescence, that desire for permanence, and I was thinking of like subscription income, and how a lot of people ask me, so I run allydozatclasses.com, right? And right now it has like 124 products on it. And when you buy them forever, and you have access to them forever and ever. And no matter what I do in my system, that will not change, and you will retain access to whatever you have in there. But people have asked me in the past for a membership program where they could like pay a monthly fee month to month and have access to all of the programs in there, So I've been thinking about what that would look like and how much I would have to charge in order for that to work out. And of course I'd have to make it so that they only had access to the videos and nothing downloadable, so that like it wouldn't be fair if they bought into something for $20 a month or something and then downloaded all the audio and like just basically stole everything, so I have to take off, like, anyways, I'm like thinking about it. But and like the logistics, but I will say I hate subscriptions. And so that's one reason why I don't want to start a membership, because I personally hate them. I hate memberships, even though I might introduce one someday. On this day, I don't like them because I don't love that feeling of having things rolling over month to month. And I don't know what it really is. All of these businesses that want you to like pay every month for access to everything. Of course, what they're trying to do is create a stable, ongoing income that they can just maintain, that they can plan on their income being steady every month. And that's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants to be able to plan ahead and know that they're going to have X amount of whatever come into their lives at X amount time. Everyone wants that. So we're dealing with actual human nature here. But where I see it as a problem is with these businesses that that kind of are obsolete, and they're still just like scrounging for the last dime, you know. Speaking of dimes, it reminds me of the March of Dimes, you know, which of course was famously started to stop polio. Guess what? Then we, you know, solved polio, which is its own, that's a whole rant I can save for another day, in quotations, because there are still the same amount of children that go paralyzed in what they call non-polio acute paralysis. It happens at the same proportion today, but it's just not in the news, and there's no you know, none of that for that problem. So who knows? It was really miraculous how they solved that kind of problem, and then immediately still had the same paralysis issues, but they just renamed it anyway. The point is that as soon as the polio problem was solved, March of Dimes had to switch its focus or die. You know, did it solve its purpose? It did. But all people still wanted to be paid. You know, they had just set up all these structures and they wanted to keep funding them, so they had to choose something else to march for, you know. And so I think about that a lot, because I think for myself as a business owner, you know, I believe, I don't know, when markets change, you have to pivot, you know, and businesses do that. But I feel like what I see in this world right now is this incredible greed that is just scrambling. Everyone's trying to grow, which is great, kind of. You can't grow forever. Like that's not nature. Nature doesn't have anything grow forever. You grow and then you die. You grow and then you shed your leaves and you hibernate and then you grow again. You know, that's how nature works. And we've created this weird system where everybody wants to buy into these companies and have them grow and grow and grow forever. But the only way that they can grow and grow and grow forever is creating the next new thing, is getting more customers, is getting their current customers to pay more often. And I don't know, I just think that it's deeply unnatural. And of course, that's why everybody loves it. Again, like we're in this war with nature. All the stuff that we hate about nature, we feel like we've solved it. Look at these plastics, they'll never die. We can use them forever. We can have these Legos 400 years from now. My great grandchildren can play with the Legos that I bought today at the Smiths. You know, they can play with them. It's going to last forever. You know, I saw this meme that said, oh, I can't even remember what it said, but it was something like, you know, the plastic bag, like this plastic bag will last for the next 500 million years, but better that than have me be inconvenienced, you know. And I think about that when I use my disposable plastic bags at the store, because and so I don't know, maybe today will be the day that I like assemble all my reusable bags and start being that person that uses a reusable bag because I believe in it, and then I never think of it in time to actually do it. But I don't know, we're in this massive multi-front war with nature, and we've won, and we're winning at great cost to everyone involved, because it turns out that war against nature, and the very thing that we hate the most about nature, it's changeability. The fact that it takes things that we like and destroys them. That's exactly what we need right now. You know, that's exactly what has to save us, is nature breaking down all of these, you know, these ostensibly permanent structures that we've surrounded ourselves with. Man, I don't know. I don't know. I've just been thinking about plastic and business and all of these things that have been so motivated by our desires for things to be permanent and to just grow and grow and grow forever. But things can't grow forever. And at some point, that's going to be very obvious. And the only question is when we're all going to figure it out. Are we going to figure it out in time? And I should say, are we going to figure it out before it's too late? We are going to figure it out in time. Over time, it's going to become robustly obvious that we have created a situation that has to be dealt with wisely and quickly. But will we figure it out soon enough that we can change the trajectory? And I personally, I just don't think so. I don't think that enough people care, know about it, know what to do about it, could afford to do the things that they know they should do about it, and of course, let's be real. Normal people, just like people living their lives, like we are not the ones causing these big problems here. The real issue is going to be like the big businesses that are dripping 5,000 gallons of Teflon chemicals into the ground and stuff like that. Like that's where the real problem is going to be. We're going to have to shift things on like corporate levels, but how do we change what corporations do? Individuals have to decide that they're not going to buy things with PFOAs anymore. Like we're going to stop buying plastic plates and cups for our children. We have to decide that we're going to move away from toxic chemicals, and we're going to stop investing in companies that think that they can just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow forever. I don't know. We're just going to have a whole different mindset. And so that kind of brings me back to my thoughts from the other day, where I was talking about that idea of like losing weight by getting a personal trainer and like buying organic food, or we could be like all the humans that ever lived and just get our exercise in by growing our food, hunting our own food. It's almost like living the way that nature designed keeps people healthy. I don't know. What a mystery. But man, I think we're going to see for ourselves how society hits a wall with this. And I don't know when that will be. I don't know when. I don't think enough people will wake up before it's too late. I think that more likely we're going to suddenly wake up and it will be too late. And I think at that time, the thing that we're all going to have to rely on again is our own intuition and our connection with God, and figuring out what to do from there. But we can, and I think that we can. And I do want to leave you with that thought. Don't give up hope. We live in a crazy time, but that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. This is the natural. I've been talking a lot about unnatural things, but the thing that we have to remember is that where we are now is the natural outcome of nature itself. Okay? We are designed to seek permanence. And therefore, when we find plastic, you better believe we're going to run with it. We are designed to seek growth. And so if that means, all these people creating corrupt companies that just keep on grifting for your money, like, guess what? That's natural too. And I feel like in a way where we're at was a little bit inevitable. On a religious level, I think that this is very important, obviously, for everything building up to things like the second coming of Jesus Christ and everything like that. And so because of that, whether or not you are a religious person, hopefully we're all on the same board with the idea of a divine creator, or at least a loving universe that wants us to have a great life. And I think that that's possible to have even when society is a disaster. I really do think that. And what that will require of us is every single day waking up and tuning in with our creator and asking those questions of, how am I going to live my life today? What do I need to do today to live in alignment with you? How am I going to accomplish the most good today? How do I have to live so that I can be protected today? We need to learn how to listen to our own intuition so that we can stay away from literally dangerous situations. I'm thinking of like toxic spills out in your neighborhood that maybe you don't know about, or I don't know, we have a lot of like 5G towers and stuff like that maybe you're not aware of, but can still affect your body. What you don't know can hurt you in the modern age. And the great thing about that is that we have access to divine revelation and our own intuition. We can tune in to the divine, to that all-loving, benevolent energy around us, and ask for help in how to live our lives so that we're protected from all of that, so that we're guided step by step to finding the answers that we're looking for. So man, I guess I just answered my own questions. I guess my next step is to, tune in with the divine about my plastic concerns and, all of my thoughts about textile waste and everything else, and even just ask if this is something I really need to be worried about, or how else I should be spending my mental energy during the day. But anyway, thank you for listening, guys. I just wanted to talk about it. I hope that this expanded your horizons a little bit. Keep breathing. Oh yeah, this is my book on mastering your intuition, and in it I have a big section on breath, because breath is everything. And I don't know, if you ever get worried about this stuff, your most important job is just to breathe as deeply as you can, and that's going to help you come back to reality and just be calm. You know, we live in a crazy time, but we can be calm through it, and actually that's the only way that we're going to get through it. I have to be calm. You have to be calm. We have to clear out our fears and be happy that we're alive right now. That happiness and that peace is what's going to help inspire other people to be happy and peaceful, even during a crazy time. It is possible, and I know that. And it is necessary. It is necessary for you and me to do it, because who else is doing it? Who else is being calm and peaceful? You know, who else is being happy, putting on a happy face, even though there's so much crazy stuff going on in the world? It's up to us. It's up to you and me. So we got to do it. So be happy, guys. Put on your happy face and take a deep breath. Allie said so. Allie said I had to take a deep breath and smile today. So go do it. Okay, guys? Thank you for listening. I hope that you have a good day.